You were head of the military of the IDF in the time of some cases like Lebanon, like Gaza. What was your experience? What does it mean? Because we live here and we say, it's a conflict with Gaza, a conflict with Lebanon, with Syria. What does it mean? Explain us a little bit. What is these cases?
It's 24 hours commitment, 365 days a year, no dull moment. Even if you are trying to take a vacation, you're still responsible. But I didn't do it alone. I had many commanders who worked with me, and it's a teamwork. So of course that on the shoulders of the chief, there is responsibility that no one can share with him. It's a strategic loneliness, I would say, of being responsible for that, but it was, I think, an honor to do it, and a great Zionist privilege to be in that position.
In 2014, it was the war with Gaza, or something.
Protective edge, yes.
What was it? Because people doesn't know and doesn't understand and think that only Israel goes in and break because they are poor Palestinian boys, they're in Gaza, that they don't have army, that they are kids. How is it to go inside Gaza? What do you see when you go inside Gaza or when you have a conflict with Gaza? Because when you say, and you see the notice and the news, they say, poor kids in Gaza, and we know that it's not correct like that. You were there, what do you say?
Unfortunately, in Gaza, the situation is very complicated. Because Hamas is a terror organization who took Gaza as hostages, if you wish, and threw out the PLO, and developed operational capabilities, rockets, special forces, tunnels, and he has tried to use them against Israel for his own consideration. We didn't initiate it for Protective Edge. Protective Edge started as an escalation because of Hamas activities from Gaza against Israel.
What are these activities that throwing rockets or
rockets? Many rockets. They tried to send many special forces. We have stopped all special forces. We have intercepted most of those rockets.
Yes.
And they have tried to use their tunnels. And once they have tried to use their tunnels, we have decided we have no choice. We have to move in to neutralize those offensive tunnels. Because, you know, Gaza is full with tunnels, but I don't care too much about the tunnels inside Gaza. I only care about the tunnels that try to come to Israel. So we used our troops, and we moved in, and we have neutralized 32 tunnels that the Hamas actually kind of cut off his strategic capabilities on this issue during the Protective Edge. But it was not something that we have started. If Israel has zero interest in Gaza to exclude security, and if somebody needs to be blamed for the situation in Gaza, you need to understand that it's not Israel, it is the Hamas. Because Hamas can choose between making Gaza be a Singapore or Gaza as it is now. And it is in his hand. And instead of using what we are sending every day, hundreds of trucks, during the campaign, before the campaign, after the campaign, every day Israel allows hundreds of trucks to go into Gaza because we understand that there are people there with food, with equipment, with construction materials, what they are using it to build tunnels. So I suggest to anyone, don't look at the propaganda, look at the realities as they are. And unfortunately, I agree, sometimes because the Hamas operates from inside the civilian population, when we are retaliating and when we are defending ourselves, unfortunately civilians are being injured, but this is not what we are seeking to do.
What do you say to a soldier, a young soldier, because we have the image of a soldier like movies in Hollywood, big, strong, and the reality is that the soldiers in Israel, they are kids about 18, 19, 20 years old, most of them, doing their service. What do you say to them when they have to go inside Gaza and have to choose to see a kid with an arm, or to see, I don't know, what do you say to them? What's there the instructions, and what do you say like a personal? Because it has to be, I have a kid about 18 years old, and I say, I don't know what to say to him when he's going to a party, maybe, but how do you say to them?
You know, this is, I suggest that we will separate between our feelings and our minds. Those are not kids, those are soldiers, well trained and prepared for their mission.
You are talking about the Israelis. Yes.
The Israelis, of course.
Yes.
And so we train them, we explain them, they understand the situation, and they were highly motivated to do what they had to do. I think it's very good that for us Israelis, you know, I always say that I am a warrior by necessity, not by a choice.
Yes.
I didn't choose to be a warrior. I have to be a warrior because I have to defend my country. And those people, when they are soldiers because they have to defend their country. And when they get out, they get high techs, doctors, teachers, engineers, whatever they are. But they understand their mission in that portion of their life. Now it's very complicated because there are kids, there are women, there are people, there are terrorists, and we need to separate between them. But
how do you do it? How do you separate it? You go inside. When you see a movie, it's very easy. You see the guy with the rifle. It's very hard. How do you separate it in real life that you are going inside Gaza?
We try our best to separate by identifying, by alerting the population to evacuate the areas that we are getting into. So we are training them, we are preparing the area, and unfortunately it's not always possible, but we have to defend ourselves.
What's happened when somebody bothers or try to do something to a soldier in Israel? We have a case all the times with Gaza, with the territories that are trying to bother the soldiers to make them react, to have that feeling. How do you do it? How do you deal with that?
Training. You explain it a lot, you train with them, and you back them up when they need to be backed up.
And after all of this, what do you think about what is happening in Gaza today? What is going to happen? Because every time they found another way to try to do it. If there was intifada, if there are tunnels, now they are trying to do it with the war.
Yeah, okay.
What do you think it has to be the reaction of Israel?
I think that Israel will continue to defend itself. They may change concept from rockets to tunnels, from tunnels to demonstration with violence, with less violence. That's on their hand. We will continue to defend ourselves, our sovereignty and our security. And if Gaza wants to be in a better situation, Hamas needs to change the way it acts.